President Trump visited the Federal Reserve today, where he publicly disagreed with its chair, Jerome Powell, about the central bank's renovation costs. Following the tour, President Trump denied tension between himself and Powell, saying they had a, quote, good meeting. When asked by reporters about the possibility of firing Powell, Trump said that would be a, quote, big move, and that there is no pressure on Powell to resign. Before today's visit, the Takeout host, Major Garrett, spoke with House Speaker Mike Johnson about the Fed chair.
How comfortable or uncomfortable are you, Mr. Speaker, with the president's repeated denunciations and jawboning, and that's putting it mildly, of the Fed chair, Jerome Powell?
Well, I understand the president's frustration. I do believe that he should reduce interest rates, and it's really too much power to be held in the hands of one person or a board, and he has a board. But it is what it is. That's our system. But right now, homeowners...
Firing him would be dangerous to confidence in the American system, would it not?
Yeah, I'm not even sure clearly what the legal parameters are of that. But I will say this. His term ends soon in a matter of
May of next year.
Yes, and it's a rocky road for him between now and then. I do believe a lot of economists will say when the economy is hot, when it's running, and ours is, and we're ramping up lots of great developments, that is not a time for you to reduce interest rates. But I think desperate times call for desperate measures.
CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady joins us now. Kelly, it's always great to have you here. What do you make of the House Speaker's comment that desperate times call for desperate measures? Is the U.S. currently in a desperate time when it comes to inflation and the economy?
I was really surprised to hear him use that language, because I think from the president and the White House, we have heard things like inflation is good, the job market is good, the economy is booming, we would do better. Now, I believe what he was referencing in that comment is the housing market, that there are a lot of people, myself included, who are first-time buyers and feel that they're locked out because of high interest rates, high mortgage rates. And interest rates that the Federal Reserve sets, it doesn't directly influence your 30-year fixed. It's not a one-to-one, but it does influence where it goes. And so, look, the economy is in a good place. We are seeing some slowing down. The Federal Reserve is going to have pressure at some point to cut rates. We heard Chipotle today said that people are pulling back on spending. They're not coming in as much. The burrito barometer, as my colleague Jill Schlesinger calls it, which is sticking with me. But the Fed is looking at all of these things and saying we're not in a desperate place. We're going to wait and see until we know how tariffs are really going to impact inflation over the next 3 to 6 months.
All right, let's talk about tariffs, because that deadline is coming. The European Union is working to reach a trade agreement before the August 1st deadline. What are the holdups? How significant would the cost increases for U.S. businesses be if a deal is not reached with them before the deadline?
So it would be significant, because this tariff that is on these European Union countries is going to go from 10% to 30% on August 1st. That's 3 times, right? That is very significant. The holdups seem to be things about sector tariffs. So steel and aluminum, them being able to sell into this country, also a potential tariff on pharmaceuticals that hasn't gone into place, but the EU does export a lot of pharmaceutical drugs to the U.S. and also cars. We've talked about that tariff on cars, that 25%. There are, of course, a lot of European countries that sell cars. Hopefully this deal gets done. But what I will say, Meg, is that no deal seems to be less than the current tariff of 10%. All of these deals that we're talking about, Japan, Philippines, Indonesia, they're all raising that tariff rate. So either way, it is going to be a significant cost increase for businesses.
All right, just one more week until that deadline. I want to get your take on TikTok. Today, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said that it will cease U.S. operations if China does not agree to a sale, given the U.S. more control over the app. President Trump has set a deadline of September 17th for the app's parent company, ByteDance, to divest. Remind us how we got here, why some lawmakers see this app as a privacy concern.
So ByteDance, that's the parent company of TikTok you just mentioned. They are a Chinese company. And the concern is that TikTok, it collects all this data on you and me. That's why the algorithm is so good and knows exactly what I want to see. That ByteDance could require TikTok to share that data with the Chinese government. There is a law in China that any Chinese company, they can go to them at any time and say, hey, we want your data. Now, TikTok has said, no, U.S. Citizens' data is totally safe, but Congress didn't feel comfortable with that. That's why they banned the app. That being said, this deadline of sell or be banned has been pushed out so many times.
So many times.
So many times. And businesses and users have sort of looked at this and gone, okay, I've heard this before. So we'll see if this sticks. And of course, that sale is also at the very heart of all these trade negotiations with China.
All right. I know my kids are watching that one very closely. Kelly O'Grady, thank you so much.